Hey guys, Luca with another video of MTG Finance, and I'm just going to talk about what I've been doing. Um, Based on the responses from my last video, I think a lot of people think I'm an idiot or disagree with my specs, which is wonderful. Like, it just makes for an interesting conversation. Um, because who knows, maybe these are good bets, maybe they're not, but I think it's like fruitful to even just talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So, and I do agree with a lot of the comments, by the way. Like my last, the spec that I made, the Bloomborough card, it's like really high variance, and I have no idea whether it's gonna work or not. And it could be like totally off base, but this is something I'm more confident in, like pretty high confidence, just because as you practice something a lot, you become more and more familiar with the dynamics of a market just from like pattern recognition and looking at it all the time. So what I've been doing for many years is buying and selling old border foils. So this is Loafing Giant from Invasion. Why did I look at this today? Well, this happens to me a lot. I'll be looking at stuff on eBay and then I'll be checking prices on TCG Player and then I'll be like, "Oh shoot, this looks like a really good deal." So on eBay today, I bought these two graded foils. I bought Tech, which is a foil rare from Invasion for 20 bucks, and the TCG Player price right now for a near mint foil is $15. Just so everyone knows, basically, if you get a CGC 8 or higher, that's like near mint or higher, right? So if you cracked open a CGC 8, you're gonna get a near mint foil. 9 is like it's like a little bit better than near mint, right? This would be like clean surface. The corners are clean, the edges are clean. There's maybe like some minor issues somewhere in the card, so it's not a 9.5. Um, and by the way, CGC 9.5 is now a CGC 10. They don't have 9.5s anymore, I believe. Although they keep changing things, it's a little bit confusing. So 9 is like a little bit better than near mint. 8.5 is like right on the dot what you would expect from near mint. Um and yeah, so thinking about like what would it cost? One interesting thought experiment is to be like, okay, if I bought the card near mint and graded it, what would it cost me, right? So if you bought this card near mint and graded it, it would cost you $15 for the card, plus let's say $12 to grade it. So that's like $27. So I'm already getting it for cheaper, but remember I did pay $5 shipping. But I bought these together so to save on shipping. But yeah, you're already getting it below what it would cost to buy the card and grade it. So then it's a question of, do people care? Do people actually care about this? Like, are there people that collect this? I'm gonna say no. Based on, buying and selling these things for the past few years, like, I don't think we're yet at the point where people really care about this stuff. But I do think in the future people will care. Just because it's super rare, and there's a lot of people that are really into ABU collecting, right? Like Rudy is a good example. Or there's tons of people that love Alpha Beta Unlimited. They love Arabian Nights. They love Legends, right? I think those are people that are like half a generation older than me, or just people that started playing during that time. I'm 34. I started playing Magic like the first time I played Magic, I was 8, and I think that was when maybe like Tempest was new or something like that. Um, but when I really started to play, I remember the first time I played Standard at my local LGS, at my local game store, Invasion Block was out. Um, I remember I had like this really horrible, like really poorly, because I didn't know what I was doing. I might have been like 10 or 11 years old. So I had this like really poorly constructed Jund deck with Dariga as the igniter. But for me, like that block, Invasion, Plane Shift, Apocalypse is the most nostalgic. Like a lot of people talk about people like collecting these old cards. A lot of it is for nostalgia, and that's probably why this business is called nostalgia. And it just fires off endorphins or whatever. It just makes you, it's that feel good chemical when you see something, and it kind of reminds you of a previous time in your life where you felt really good. So for me, this happens to be Invasion Block. Like those are the cards that make me feel awesome. Like seeing the old border foils from Invasion, that excites me more than seeing like an alpha or beta, and it's probably just because of my own experience playing Magic, where I started during this block. And I think there's probably lots of other players that are the same, right? So you could assume that there's lots of other players that are around my age that could be, anywhere between 30 to 38. Yeah, let's say 32 to 38, somewhere around that age where when they were little kids, like this stuff was cool. Like this was what came out, and basically I think that generation of Magic players, they're going to be acquiring more and more wealth, and there should be some time in the future where there's going to be a bidding war over these things, I think. That's just my opinion. But at this moment, like if I buy this, will it be easy for me to resell this? The answer is no. There's not a lot of demand here. But basically my thought process is this is kind of below cost if I wanted to grade it myself. And I do see a lot of potential growth in the price in the future. Loafing Giant was a little bit different because this card is actually, it was like $3 or $4 near mint on TCG Player. But what did I do? I bought this and I scooped up all the copies I could find below $4 on TCG Player, because I think if tech is $15 on TCG Player, Loafing Giant should also be $15. And I've done this a lot. There's many, many, many times from my own experience where I've bought these old border foils for $3, $4, sometimes $2, sometimes $1. To me, that's completely mispriced. These are way too rare. And then you can literally resell them. I don't think it's worth reselling. I'll just hold on to them until the prices go up higher, but that's what I did. So kind of the strategy I have on TCG Player is if I see a card that's like this, so I just bought 4 copies of this card. So there were 4 more copies here, right? So right now there's 5, but there were 9. But even that, if there's only 9 copies of a foil rare of a Magic card, and there's millions of people that play Magic, that is such a small supply. All you need is you just need 10 people that want 1 card each, and there's no supply in TCG Player, right? So to me that screams something that's undervalued. Like people are just undercutting each other without really thinking about the true value of the card. A lot of people have a lot of cards to sell on TCG Player, right? I've been a TCG Player seller myself. Sometimes what you do is you just click, list the card at whatever the lowest person is. I'll list it for 1 cent lower, right? I've done that a lot because you don't have time for every single card to think deeply about what it should be valued. Now, that being said, there's people selling the card for $3, and there's people selling the card for $15, and I know these people for Pristine CCG. I bought a lot of cards from them, and I'm willing to many times pay a premium because their cards are in super good condition, because I think they crack packs. I think that's why. It's the only explanation I can think of. These guys are listing it at $15. Why are they not listing it at $4? Maybe it's because they know something. And then this person's listing it at $115. Does this person know something, or is this person just crazy? I mean, I think they're a little bit crazy. I think it'd be really hard to sell this for 115, but maybe it's not. And even if there was a 1% chance that you could sell it for $115, would it be worth listing it at that much more? That's actually kind of an interesting question. I would say yes, because even if there was a 1% chance you could sell it at 10x the price, imagine you list 100 cards. Maybe that's not enough, but still, imagine you list like 1,000 cards, right? You could sell 10 of them at 10x price, and then you could just lower your prices on everything and sell them at regular price. That might be a good strategy. I don't know, but to me, this seems kind of crazy. But you always have to remember that you have a marketplace, you have a bunch of people doing different things, and usually everyone's got a reason behind what they're doing. Usually, it's not completely random. And the fact that this is listed for $115, it's a reflection of how scarce it is. I don't think it's worth anywhere near $115. I don't think he would ever sell it. But there is someone who thinks, hey, maybe if all of a sudden people buy 10 copies of this card, mine's the only one left, and someone comes and buys it because I have the only one left, right? So anyways, that was my small little video. If you see near mint foils of the old sets and they're really, really cheap on TCG Player, it could just be people listing them lazily at whatever price is lowest and then undercutting by 1 cent or whatever. So we can also look at the sales, right? So how many sales have there been recently? So the last sale was June 2nd for $2. So there like so few of them sell that it's hard to price. When something has like really low volume, it's really hard to price things. If something consistently sells 10 copies a day, you kind of know what the price is. So like one of my strategies is just to scoop these things up when I see them super cheap. And then on eBay, like if you can bundle stuff, you save a little bit of money on shipping. Like I probably save $2 or $3 on shipping, which is actually on a $45 order. That's not bad at all. Actually, there's like a lot of like little tricks here. So I think I saved $3 on shipping because I combined this order. Then I also saved 8% in taxes because I'm having this shipped to Oregon to PWCC. So saved 8% there. And then saving $3 is like probably another 8%. So I saved another 8% there, and I used like a cashback card. So I get 3% cashback. So if you add up that's like 20%. It's kind of like a big deal actually. So little tricks like that can be really helpful when you're trying to nickel and dime your way in Magic MTG Finance. So anyways, those are my thoughts. I think something like this, like what would I value something like this? I think as soon as people are in the market for buying like these old border foils, I think an 8.5 or a 9 old border foil rare should sell for about $50. Because if you think about it, the foil raw itself should be 10 to 15 bucks. Grading it is another 10 to 15 bucks, right? So that's like 20 to 30 bucks. And then the work it takes to get it and grade it, that should also be part of the price because there is work involved. And that should be another 10 to 15 bucks, I think, the amount of work it takes. So put that together, it should be 40, 45 bucks. I think 50 bucks is like a good price point for these things. I would not be surprised if I'm able to sell these for 50 bucks in a year or two from now, or a lot more, right? It's also possible, like completely possible, the price of the foils spikes up to 50 bucks, 100 bucks, right? And then you can sell a 9 for 80 bucks, right? I think that's totally possible. It happened the last time everything spiked. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Hopefully this video wasn't too long or boring, and I'll see you guys in the next video.